I think MapleStory is the best game in the world, but I would never recommend this game to anyone. That may sound paradoxical, but it's really not, and I'm going to explain why in today's video. If you saw my livestream yesterday, I was getting very heated because of the current state of the game. Ever since Coppersand released his iconic The Current State of MapleStory video, a lot of players have been speaking out against Nexon and the things that they dislike about this game. I'm not here to make a video in response to Coppersand. Even though I don't agree with everything he said in his video, I think the fact that he released it and started this wave of community backlash is really important, because players and content creators of this game really need to come together more often to ask for change. At its core, I think MapleStory is one of the best games ever, which is why I feel so passionate about this topic. The aesthetics of this 2D side-scrolling game cannot be beat, bosses and class mechanics are very engaging, and I love the chill aspect of farming. I'm even in favor of all of the RNG mechanics of the game, such as Star Force, cubing, and pitch boss. I want the game to be better, but it will never reach its full potential unless Nexon does a better job communicating to its players and making them happy. A lot of this community backlash started when Nexon revealed the price of the fairy heart for the event shop at a whopping 5 billion mesos. In prior event shops, the heart cost 2 bill, which is a very stark difference. After listening to the community, Nexon decided to reduce the price to 4 bill, and they stated that they made the price increase because of game balancing. In today's MapleStory, it's easier to get meso, so they thought that a price increase was justified. What baffles me though is that they use the guise of game balancing to make a lot of changes, but at the end of the day, the game is already unbalanced in so many ways. Burst classes are heavily favored in bossing, progressing boss meals past Enlomian is very inefficient for your income, and GMS exclusive classes such as Kana and Beast Tamer are in the gutter. Those are only a few of the things that are unbalanced, but the list goes on. Let's be real, a fairy heart is not going to make or break your progression in the game. You can go the entire game without an android equipped and you can still clear bosses such as Black Mage and Saren. The final damage gain you get from this mediocre item is so minimal, which is why it's so surprising to me to see Nexon care so much about balancing this one aspect of the game when there are so many other things that they should focus on balancing. In an attempt to balance the fairy heart price, all they really did was make their players angry and worsen their image as a company. Considering that the game is already so unbalanced, I'd rather them keep the game unbalanced but make changes that actually make the players happy. Why is it that their management would rather push players away than to make them smile? They tried to balance the game, but all they did was unbalance my serotonin levels. At a certain point, you have to wonder, does Nexon purposely want to make its players angry? I'm not a psychologist, but a lot of players do masochistically play this game. They farm for hours on end while saying to themselves, "This game is trash." Maybe making us angry is part of their management style. But if it is, then I think we should stay away from this game and this company as much as we can. Who wants to play a game managed by a company that has a track record of not caring about its players' thoughts and feelings? The controversies continued a week later when Nexon, out of the blue, made a post during a maintenance when the game was down, saying that they were removing Jet. I'm not going to go into my complete thoughts about the Jet removal, but I will say that their communication about this change was very insulting. They did not give us any advance notice or consult us about our thoughts regarding this change. Instead of throwing this at us out of nowhere, they could have said something like this. Dear players, we are planning on removing Jet as a class due to the lack of funding and because of the issues we cannot correct with the class as it pertains to future content coming to the game. We understand that this may come as a shocking change, and so we were asking for player feedback on how we can best implement this into the game and develop adequate compensation for players who played Jet. We value the time and effort that you have put into your Jet characters, and we want to do the best we can to make this a smooth transition for us all. Thus, we will be holding a live stream where we will ask for the community feedback and listen to players' concerns. We hope to see you there! Doesn't that sound much better than simply throwing the change at us out of nowhere? The fact is, communication has always been an issue when it comes to Nexon. They never seem to value player feedback and they never create two-way street communication venues where players can express their opinions. Instead, their communication strategy is to simply ignore all player concerns on Discord and Reddit while they communicate to us via their pink bean bulletins where we cannot even comment or share our thoughts in response. A lot of players believe that Nexon doesn't listen to us, but I think they do. That was proven to us when they quickly changed the fairy heart price from 5 to 4 billion mesos. They do listen to us, but a lot of the time they don't care to respond because they know they can simply get away with ignoring us. Nexon knows the top questions GMS players have about the game. Red cards for reboot, their stance on legacy items, Kana balancing, etc. But they choose to not have a stance instead of telling us upfront what their intentions are for the game. I think if Nexon gave us their stance on these topics instead of ignoring us, we would be a happier community even if these changes we want didn't get implemented into the game. Being silenced and ignored only makes us angrier as we sit in the dark, waiting in fear for the next patch to come that might bring us some game-changing features that no one asked for or anticipated. A great example of a company that actually creates two-way venues of communication is Minecraft. Oftentimes when Minecraft is preparing for a large update, they will have a few different plans for the content of the update, but they will allow the players to vote on which one they would like to see that year. Then they will save the other content plans that players did not vote for another time. This type of communication strategy between a gaming company and its player base is great because it actually makes the player feel like they are a part of what's to come. Nexon has never made me feel that way. Speaking of Minecraft, you may know of a popular YouTube creator named Etho's Lab. In one of his Let's Play videos, Etho mentioned that he had previously played MapleStory. I decided to comment on one of his videos asking if he would ever come back to the game, and this is what he said. I came back to the game for a few months when Reboot was still somewhat newish. I had a blast with the nostalgic trip and loved how much faster paced the game got. I had a second account with a high-level Kana I was using for the XP boost, 2 computers, 2 keyboards, and playing both at the same time. They improperly banned me, thinking I was hacking, and then rejected the appeal. Great game run by a terrible company. I'm done with it. Imagine if we had a content creator like Etho who has 2.4 million subscribers on YouTube creating content for MapleStory. If he gave visibility to the game, MapleStory would pop off like never before. However, because of Nexon's management style with the game, I firmly believe that the game will never reach success no matter how great the game is at its core. Like he said, great game run by a terrible company. It really does break my heart that such an amazing game can go into the gutters because of simple things such as communication. My hope is that Nexon creates a two-way communication venue with us soon before they run this game into the ground completely. If we are loud enough as players and content creators, perhaps we can ask for some nice changes to GMS. However, if we actually want them to listen, we have to hit them where it hurts, their profits. If you want to make a change, I suggest you stop playing this game and/or stop spending money on it. The rank 1 person in MapleStory throughout the entire world, Niru, has publicly stated on Reddit that he will never spend another dime on MapleStory, which is very inspiring. I encourage you to do the same. I personally will not be playing this game actively and will not be spending money on the game until I see some change from Nexon. I probably wouldn't have been able to spend the money anyways, considering that I'd probably crash in the cash shop before I got the chance to. Ha! Isn't this a great way to celebrate a MapleStory anniversary? I feel really valued as a player during the time when we are supposed to be celebrating our love for the game. I also really appreciate your time if you've been watching until the end. Remember to like the video and comment if you have any other things to say about the current state of the game. I love all of you benches. #BetterMaple.